Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all in between. Welcome back to SimRail for another stream on the Hunter Striker 777 channel. Right, let's jump straight in, shall we? Now, today, probably going to be doing a mix of both dispatching and doing driving. So we're going to spend the first couple of hours on driving trains, and afterwards, when the server restarts, we'll jump in and do some dispatching for the rest of the stream. What should I do? There's quite a few here, but I think we'll go for this one here. Take it a moment. Loud for me. Release from there we go. You actually can see something now, rather than absolutely nothing. I don't know why it's decided to do that, but there you go. How is your weekend going, chat? I mean, it's been a rough couple of days because the throne stuff has decided that it does not like me, so I've been dealing with that. It hopefully shouldn't be too much of an issue. Only travelling at 20 kilometers an hour. We've only just jumped into this train, so I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure on what has been going on with this particular unit. Shall now plug in the map server we're currently in at the moment. I'll be pinned right now. So that will basically show you exactly where I am on server at this particular time. I did spend a whole day of, I think it was Thursday. I spent the entirety of the afternoon in the Julius signal box, basically just learning how the button panel boxes actually work with that. So we're slowly approaching this signal aspect. The sky moved quite a bit just then. And now we can now accelerate up to 100 kilometers an hour. Now approaching our next stop. To a stop, we can now open the doors. I'll reset the power brake controller. Oh, nice to have a cup of tea. Now close the doors. Now we can make our way. Yes, now it's player controlled. Briefly dropping down to 90 kilometers an hour. Going straight back up speed. Actually approaching a red signal. Now I've got a cat at the back door, so I'll go deal with that. Haven't missed much, that's good. We are at the moment waiting to enter Redson. Got 100 kilometer an hour. Down to our next stop. We are running late, unfortunately. Got another 100 kilometer an hour signal. Doors are closed. Now proceed on. Or to stop. Right. Doors now closed. Now accelerate. Unfortunately, SimRail's AI isn't. Whenever it's the dispatchers, the AI dispatchers seem to be pretty garbage when it comes to decision making. Like what trains should go earlier, what trains should it let through, or hold rather. Because on Thursday night, uh, when I was in Julius's signal box, uh, it was an absolute shit show because there's a signal box that is not under the control of my box, nor is it under the control of the box ahead of that one. So there is basically an area where you don't have any control of that box. It's entirely down to the AI and what it decides to do. So if it has 3 or so trains that are like coming from one of the single line tracks, it will pick that over anything else. So it becomes very frustrating with the AI signal boxes when you have those sort of issues. Whereas if you have it controlled by a player, then it makes life a lot easier because they can make active decisions on whether or not to send a train early. Whereas the AI, as soon as it gets a train, it will automatically want to send it out of its area, which causes problems for the boxes under player control, because they've now got to deal with 10 more trains that it's decided to send. Braked a little bit too early. Now I can bring the train to a stop. We're still making good time though, we're only 4 minutes delayed. Now accelerate up to 100 kilometers an hour. or just over 65 miles an hour. Jump. Hello, Panubra. Long time no see. I figured out how to do the dispatching with the button boxes. That's 1 week. Eh. 1 week definitely feels a lifetime. Especially when you're working almost every day. It does. It does depend on age, how you perceive time. But we've got just over 1 week to go for the next SimRail update, which brings in a whole bunch of other stuff. Bringing in ETCS, which is quite prevalent on these routes, and all new signal boxes as well. Which will definitely make things a little bit more interesting. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm excited to see. I'm definitely excited to see how they do the other signal boxes, the ones that currently aren't playable. Yeah, I'll definitely be doing a day 1 launch of the new update on the 22nd. Oh, the dragon. It's gonna have that. It's good. And I think also the high-speed train as well. Oh, look. A lot of trains do have ETCS. It's just that it's just because it's not fully active. Uh, it's not fully active. It's only available in the single player at the moment in this current build. Uh, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that all plays into what we do as drivers and signallers on SimRail. Close doors. I forget what signal that is. It's a 100 km/h indication. Next point is Larcy. LC. We're driving through that. Signal unit. Yeah, peak times tend to be about mid-afternoon-ish. When mid-afternoon, evening is when you start to see a lot more players using the signal boxes. It's very bright today. Mind you, it is 2 o'clock.2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in Europe at the moment. Now, hopefully we'll get some more scenarios for the freights, because it tends to be quite a lot of the same routes. Or give an exit signal, that's good. It's sunny now in all over Poland, so sunny it is in I do. That is actually pretty cool. So I don't know whether then SimRail takes into account the IRL weather in Poland at the moment. That would be pretty awesome if it did, because then you could potentially set. Oh, this is exactly why I absolutely. It does every 30 minutes. That's that basically like opens up the door for like loads of different possibilities from a person that likes to create their own timetables. That to me is like pretty cool to actually know that it actually takes into account real life weather. Yeah, that also basically means that you basically get uh, whatever weather is happening and gives it some variety. That's what I'm trying to say. It gives you a lot more variety whenever you're driving trains around. Because not every single day is the exact same, typically. Oh, look at that. That's bang on. Stopped absolutely bang on. Not my intention. I initially thought I was going to overshoot it. Right, I'll be back in a moment. Seems to me that the ELF is your favourite, isn't it? Yeah, it's a nice simple train. It's nice and simple, and it's nice and simple. It's the first train that you'll basically learn. when you do SimRail. And yeah, just stuck with it. And it doesn't matter which one you basically use. You could use the what's it called? You could use the 2-car variant, or this version, which is the 4-car variant. I think there is a 5-car variant as well. But yeah, it's also a good one to ride on. I've not been to Poland. I think it's one of the things that I want to do, is to do a great big train journey into Europe at some point. But that's something definitely for the future. Went to Germany. Looked at trains there. I forgot to bring my camera that time, so I didn't get any photographs of trains that I wanted to do. Or at least if I did, I mistakenly deleted them all or moved them somewhere, which is very frustrating. About 6-7 years ago, about 2016, is when we went to Germany. Now we're waiting for this player that's in the signal box to work out whether he wants to send me into station. I mean, it shouldn't matter, because I'm just driving through it. Make sure cruise control is set up correctly. We've now been waiting here for probably about a minute. I'll give you another minute and then I'll call up box. And now we've got a portion aspect. the speed up. I remember the day when we didn't have any motor trains in Poland. Nowadays we built our own, like this ELF, Dragon, Griffin, etc. And frankly speaking, I don't see much difference between our trains and German ones. No, so a lot of the trains are these days are built with interoperability with other nations as much as possible. So we have signal systems, so they'll have the same signal systems like ETCS that is pretty much used on most modern trains, or equipped on most trains these days, for that ability to cross into Europe without having to worry about building extra equipment just to equip a train with a signal system for a country which they may or may not go into. A good example of this is the Class 92s that we have over here in the UK. They were built with cargo and passenger service through the Channel Tunnel. So they were meant to do freight service most of the time and then do passenger service as well as a sleeper train. But the Night Star service basically got axed pretty much as soon as the tunnel opened, and the Class 92s have basically just pretty much been stuck with the Channel Tunnel. You very often, sometimes, they're either stuck at the Channel Tunnel doing those trips, or they're in the other places on the West Coast Main Line. That's basically... yeah, so Class 92s, they were initially meant to also run passenger services through the Channel Tunnel as part of the so-called night sleeper. That got axed pretty much as soon as the tunnel was opened, but they still used in passenger service for the Caledonian Sleeper. That's basically what pulls that service from London Euston all the way up to Glasgow. It just shows that you can plan for one thing, and then that plan can easily go straight out the window when the changes. Class 92 is similar to the 60s, just electric. Is it diverged from the Class 60? So the Class 60 is its own program. It's not actually, although they look pretty similar, they're not actually based on the same program. So they were basically, Class 60s were built basically as a replacement for the Class 56s and Class 47s that were doing merry-go-round services and basically running coal and petroleum runs. So it was basically built as a replacement for that. But very few of them were actually built, and a lot of them have actually been scrapped in favour of the Class 66s. I think it mostly came down to bad timing, because the UK was basically in the middle of privatising the railways, and I'm not entirely sure whether they have reliability issues and that also plague them, but it's very rare to see them these days running. You're more likely to see a Class 66 pulling freight than anything else. The requirement was an availability of 95% for the Class 66s, and it exceeded that by being 3% more than that. Yeah, it's interesting how you can plan for one eventuality and then have to change things on the fly because your criteria has changed. Uh, they're pretty pop. The Class 66 is pretty popular. Its nickname in the UK is the Shed, because if you look at it, it basically forms like the shape of a shed. If you look at the body shape of a Class 66, you could kind of see that it does look very shed-like, but they're quite powerful. They're quite reliable, and pretty much purchased purchases in both the UK and over in Europe. In Poland, it's nicknamed the Hornet. Okay, that is interesting. So over in so here in the UK, it's called the Shed, and over in Poland, it's called the Hornet. We have them in Freightliner livery. Yeah, so Freightliner operates quite a lot of. Yeah, we have them in Freightliner livery because of that livery. So it's called. So they're called Hornets because of Freightliner livery. That would make. That would make sense, because it's the new Freightliner livery is basic. If you've ever seen over in the US, they have the Genesee in Wyoming, and basically Freightliner is a subsidy of that. So that's why the Freightliner livery and the Genesee in Wyoming and various other liveries in the south of the US have the same similar livery. Yeah, it's a really nice livery. The new Freightliner livery. It looks really good with a lot of locomotives that we have over here in the UK. It looks really good on the Class 90s we have. can't wait for this Class 66 to come to SimRail. Yeah, I would absolutely love to have Class 66 in SimRail. I definitely think it's a possibility, given the fact that it is pretty prevalent in Europe, not only in the UK. So right. I think we'll go for one more service. I don't think I've done any high speed stuff. So we'll go do that. Also seen a couple of the 66s in AWS livery here in Poland. Even had an opportunity to be in the cap. All right. So that. So. Yeah. I think I have seen. I mean, mind you, I've seen Class 66s over here in a wide variety of liveries, so it doesn't surprise me. Right. Washer. It does work, but I don't think it actually cleans anything. If I remember correctly, this is the one that has ETCS. It's coming to the multiplayer. Sure, doors closed. Right. Why? There we go. We're now actually moving in the correct direction. accelerating up to 90 kilometers an hour. I don't normally do high-speed runs, but I wanted to change up things. Down to 40 kilometers an hour. Just before our next stop. I was trying to figure out what the letters AWS stood for, and when I realised it was EWS, if I'm not mistaken, they stand for English, Welsh, and Scottish, right? Yes, so that's basically the old company that is basically is EWS is now owned by uh Deutschbahn Schenker, which is the cargo division over in the UK. A lot of their liveries have, a lot of their, because they basically was merging uh, two companies with very large inventory of Class 66s. A lot of them got sold over to Europe as well, which is why there's quite a lot of them in EWS livery over in Europe. And the ones I saw on my trip to Brussels about a couple of months ago was basically a what's it called? It was basically one of those liveries. Oh, yeah. Right. Why on earth can I not release brakes? Why is this thing being a pain in the ass? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Okay. If I do that, will it now work for me? There, so something was causing me to have that issue. Apparently it's not an issue on the ELFs, but it is an issue on this train. Fortunately, I can't see I like the 66s in DB Schenker livery. It's bright red, which I guess makes it distinct. But if anything, livery that I prefer is the GB Rail Freight livery. Worked for short tenure with that company, so that's why Pendolino is not my favourite train in there. So hopefully, yes, ETCS will change that. Yeah, this blank screen in front of me is, if I'm not mistaken, where the ETCS will actually be. I just press pantograph front. I definitely hope the ETCS will make driving some of the faster trains a little bit easier. How do you like the EU07s? I haven't quite worked out how to run them properly. I think I did one run in them. I think I overloaded it and I couldn't work out how to do it. nicely. 158 kilometers an hour. I've definitely tried to. I definitely tried to give every single train a go, but fortunately, the EU07s haven't really clicked for me. EU07 is connected with the EU06 locomotive. The EU6 was a Polish derivative of the British class 83. Alright. So, it's pretty cool. For me, it's one of the best. Yeah, everyone's choice of train is that they like is different depending on what you basically see every day, what gives you that interest in the railways. Me, a lot of my interest of European railways comes from doing Train Simulator, like Hamburg to Hanover. That was one of the first German routes that I think I actually got. Because if I remember correctly, they basically came with the game. Either that or I purchased them myself. Either way, the Hamburg to Hanover is probably one of the better routes that DTG have done. You are British, so I thought the E7 might be to your liking. Well, with it's more closer to a tap changer. So we call you basically your increase tap changers is basically a term for the system that controls the amount of resistance. Yeah, similar to the Class A6, A7s, yeah. They're called tap changers because you're increasing the amount of resistance by manually basically selecting the amount of resistance you want. So the higher you go with the tap changer, the less resistance there is. Now, the 86 A7s are AC to DC. So they're converting alternating current to direct current. Traffic. And by Poland, the EU7 has. Hmm. I I'll think I'll definitely have a look at learning how to drive EU07s because it's the one of I think it's now the only train that I don't know how to run in SimRail other than one of the metro trains. That train that's going by now. That's the only other train that I haven't learned yet. So I think that'll probably be one of the things I'll do after the stream is learn those trains. But next SimRail stream will be of the cargo pack launch and the SimRail update. So we'll come back to this train and see what the difference is. This is why I am here. Why don't you try it now? Sure, why not? Return to menu. I think always the best thing to do is probably. So I don't want to make a hash of it. Going to. Where is it? Back. Next. Sure, there is IS. Always good to use a tutorial if there's one available, rather than just winging it. I've already driven for 1,227 kilometers.
Dzisiaj poprowadzisz pociąg osobowy z Zawiercia do Katowic. Na początku sprawdź łączność z dyżurnym ruchu. To enter the locomotive, approach it and click on the doors or press 1 on a keyboard. Open the cover on the left side of the panel and move battery enable switch upwards.
The left side of the panel. Left side of the panel. Open the cover on the left hand side of the battery. It's the enable switch up. It's beautifully ugly, which makes it very British. I'm just trying to open the cover on the left hand side. Left hand side.
To enter the locomotive, approach it and click on the doors or press 1 on a keyboard.
One.
Open the cover on the left side of the panel and move battery enable switch upwards.
Battery enable in the front of the other chair. Can I get out? Or how do I get out? What is the button to get out of the seat? There's a thing, I haven't gone out of the seat in ages. Backward, left, right. Train driver. How do I get out of the seat? Movement. General. Delete. That's how I get out.
Lever on the left side of the panel and move battery enable switch upwards. Collision system applied emergency brake. Acknowledge collision system. Enable radio and set desired channel. Rise the pantograph.
Okay.
To sit on the
And
driver's seat,
up.
press on it.
Sit down. Okay.
Wait for the voltage to appear. Differential relay breaker is active. Use differential relay breaker reset button.
Zawiercie do 40665 próba łączności.
Close main switch.
Zawiercie 40665 jest gotowe do drogi.
Press
Enable the circuit breaker. Enable converter. Enable compressor.
I've already done that.
Main tank to fill.
Main pressure. Main pressure. Main pressure reservoir.
Train brake handle is in the cutoff position. Move train brake handle into driving or charging position. Hold brake releaser button to charge the main line.
Open brake.
Parking brake is active. Release it using handle on the rear wall of the cabin. To close line conductors, move drive handle to the first position. Successfully increase position of the drive handle.
Okay.
Avoid long distance driving on resistant positions. Successfully increase position of the drive handle. To close line conductors, move drive handle to the first position.
Okay.
Pull train brake handle towards you to apply braking force.
I'm not entirely sure what electric range is. I'm doing something. Okay, so it is the same. So it had a little bit of an issue. On the other train.
brake handle is in the braking position. Move train brake handle into driving position. To close line conductors, move drive handle to the first position. Train brake handle is in the cutoff position. Move train brake handle into driving position. Leaving train brake handle in the charging position for a long time may cause overcharging the main line. Move train brake handle into driving position. Train brake handle is in the cutoff position. Move train brake handle into driving position. Leaving train brake handle in the charging position for a long time may cause overcharging the main line. To close line conductors, move drive handle to the first
Okay,
position.
there we go.
Successively increase position of the drive handle.
Slowly getting it.
Avoid long distance driving on resistant position. Successively increase position of the drive handle. Drive handle is now on non-resistant position. This is appropriate position for long distance driving. You can also use shunting handle to increase the power.
Okay. I think I will probably try and find a button for the shunt regulator to increase and decrease. If you've been filled for a long time, it will damage your brakes. It's simulated. Okay. Good to know. I'll keep it running. running is where it should be. Of course it will be simulated. Yeah, definitely braked a little bit too early for this signal speed. I think I probably made the mistake of trying to make my first run with this train as a freight. The only confusing thing about the EU07 is the shunt regulator, but you seem to know how to use it. Yeah, the shunt regulator, it's weird, definitely. It's very unusual. I don't think I've ever seen such a thing on a train. I wonder. Wonder if I push it too hard, it causes an overload. Will it actually give me a tutorial on how to fix it? Because that would be good to know in case I do actually overload it. I'd rather know now how to fix that problem rather than finding out in the middle of a scenario. I can just use the shunt regulator. I guess the shunt regulator basically allows you finer control of the speed of the train. Kind of similar like the fine speed controls on a Class Phase 7. Because with Class Phase 7 you can run it up to half a mile an hour. Like anywhere between, after 1 mile an hour you can basically run it up to 0.5. Not a problem, I do not mind AFK. I'll try not to do something stupid in the meantime. Kilometers an hour. Definitely make sure that I put button to the shunt regulator. Key bindings. What's it conflicting with now? Cabin lights. About that. Where is it? That. Figure it out later. Yeah. Definitely think I've now got a grasp. Going to right. We'll go to this next stop, then we'll jump in and do some dispatching.
Use the click
Right.
button on your radio telephone to confirm the readiness to the train dispatcher.
Right. I'm going to turn to the menu and I'll be back in a moment. I've got to go get a couple of things. Okie dokie. Lemon pokey. Right. Let's see what boxes are available. Traffic dispatcher. Yes! Perfect. Right, what's here, what isn't here? Okay. What have we got going? We've got 24177. That's on its way. Not 24177. Oh. That is now on its way. So you are going straight through. What, 42948? That's going to be making a minute stop. Mm. 42, 44177, 42948. I need this one close. There's 24177. It's about 4.6 kilometers out. Route you right through. Okay, that means it's on its way. Next camera, close crossing. I need to, he's accepted it. It's good. I can just run this guy straight through the station. Now inbound lock. 42948. That's on its way. Ready to call train 24177. Departure time of 15:24. Send. Arrival. some back up. $42,948. Copy that. Ugh. Alright. Level crossing. Close that crossing. In arrival. $27. Soon. Oh. As soon as it's come to a stop, I'll confirm the time. One 44273. That was reported 4 minutes early. $42,948. You have an exit signal on track number 2 to track 2. Proceed when ready. Departure time 144273. Open new. I prefer this sort of signal simulator. As much as I like SimSig for all of its replication of the actual signal stuff, this is the sort of stuff that I like. Like the ability to look around and actually see what's happening in conjunction with. Unfortunately, I have to go. Have a good afternoon. Yeah, have a good afternoon too, mate. I'll still be around for the next at least an hour or so. Right. Departure confirmation. And that was 42948. Departed at 15:29. Sent. Uh, 144273. That was last reported 7 minutes early. I-31. Scheduled departure 15:38. Scheduled departure is 15:42. Yeah, it's miles early. (14:4273). You have a route set to track 3, where you'll be held up until your scheduled departure time of 15:42. (24:97.7). That's miles out. I like to make sure that I hold freight trains in the passing loops up until their scheduled departure time, simply because I like to make sure that everything is nice and neat, that there's no conflicts ahead of these guys. The next passenger train isn't scheduled till 1607, so it's just merely holding this guy. Confirming train has indeed arrived. Camera open crossing. Sometimes the AI dispatchers do odd things with line 62. And they're all AI controlled. Those signal boxes on line 62, apart from this one. And it makes life a little bit difficult. The idea of holding some trains back, especially the freight trains, is to make life easier, especially for some of the players that are in the other signal boxes that aren't AI controlled. Makes both of our lives easier by using what available sidings we can use. time. Arrival time is confirmed. I haven't confirmed schedule time yet. Take him a minute to pull away. Right. 144273, you have an exit signal to track 1. Proceed on aspect. Have a good day too. Train 144273 departed at 15:42. Oh. Nice clean panel at the moment. Slow down. Now open up that crossing. 42,180. That's on its way. 424048. Oh. Cannot wait for the other signal boxes on line 62. But maybe some of the other ones, like the one at Dandoka, because that one is a pain in the ass because it's only AI controlled. It's unplayable dispatch. It's a pain in the ass because it decides to take in so many movements that it actually blocks up the station quite often. Would you look at that? All four of us lined up in a row. Sakal, Doroa, Dorota, Julius. Oh. Right. Shouldn't be too long. They'll decides to send me a train. Or we got one coming in, which is 42180. And it's 5 minutes late, apparently. That's literally because of those smaller, unplayable boxes that cause the problems. Okay. Chrono is now clear. Need to send another train, which I probably will. 42180, it is just a straight run through. You remember? It's weird. Move you back to the straight position. Right. Let's get crossings all closed. Just crossing. Four two 180. It was player controlled. It's no longer. Oh, excuse me. Right. The approach 24947 is a bit far out. Twenty-four 3637. 2435. uh, 243537. That's meant to just be passing through. Four. Okay. 280. 180. Started. 1555. It's got another one for me. 424048 is behind schedule. Received. Confirm train departure. Don't know how long it'll be for this guy to change section. Oh, so coughing. Fantastic. Oh, I actually have the hold. Put the stream on hold. Just coughing quite a bit. Yeah, I'm going to leave the stream now. Right. Thank you all for tuning in. If you tuned in at all, sorry the dispatchment was a little bit short, but starting to feel not particularly great. So yeah. I'm not entirely sure when I'll be back streaming. I haven't really decided yet. Definitely will be doing another SimRail stream. The following Monday, not next week Monday, but the following Monday on the 22nd of April for the release of the Cargo Pack DLC, along with all of the other various different stuff. So, yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you in the next stream. Bye for now.